Hey, everyone, we're back. I know we've been gone for time, but you know what? We have families, and I know they're the worst, but we gotta see them every now and again. So,
That was my Independence Day. Dun-dun-dun. It's being with my family.
it's Roland
There's
Emmerich. So, while we were gone, a few things happened. There was a pay-per-view called Stomping Grounds of all pay-per-view names, and it was not the worst show that's ever happened. The first
no,
half of it was actually pretty good.
yeah.
And then Shane McMahon wrestled. It
Oh,
was
oh,
largely
Lobster
downhill from
Boy,
there. Yeah.
amazing Lobsterman. Yeah, no, I feel like that show. Um, it was just like it's like a B-52 or like a stealth bomber, like a Black Hawk. It was just so low radar, so under the radar that no one cared to make it bad. They were just like, we need to just it's gonna be a show and we're gonna do it, and no one fucked with it, and it
I
was okay.
I
I
think
know this because I'm looking at the times for every match, and they are all like statistically all the same, which means no one wanted to do anything special for this show.
yeah, I mean we when you go in expecting it to be like December to Dismember, and you get I was about to say any fast lane, but that's not true. Any like extreme rules from the past 4 years, you're gonna be pleasantly surprised, and I was pleasantly surprised, but that was about it. Um, and last week on NXT, there was a heel turn where Io Shirai beat Candice LeRae with a chair, and
Yes.
Shayna
Yes.
Baszler's still your NXT champion, but that's gonna be in the background for a while because this is the story that's gonna get TV time.
Yup.
It's almost as
Uh,
if I don't know, should have put the belt on one of them.
yeah. But now she gets to wear all this black leather, and she has a cool theme, cool new different theme.
She has a cool, yeah, we'll use that as a transition point into this week. She has a cool new theme with strobe lights, and she came out wearing pants that, in my book, constitute a babyface turn. And she came out, made her long journey to the ring to say, I don't need any friends, and I don't need any of you. These, how many? Let's see, one, two, three, so five, and then another five. So these 10 words took about 10 minutes to say. So she's working at a great word per minute efficiency here.
She's just milking it.
It has nothing to do with her English. Like, she actually said the phrases in a timely manner, but she took long pauses in between.
So I invited my non-wrestling fan friend over this particular week, and he's just like, we turned away, we turned back to our commander game for a little bit. We looked back, and she was gone because that's how a promo segment works. They come on and then they leave, and he's like, wait, she's not wrestling. I'm like, yeah,
No,
just
typically you don't wrestle in black leather pants that are that tight. They're for
uh,
looking, not for working. In
bad.
both the wrestling and prostitute sense.
And in the X-Men, can't wear those tight leather jumpsuits. It's too constricting. When you're Wolverine.
On you're the
Am I
Wolverine.
am I saying Io Shirai is Wolverine? Anyone can make that link if you just look at the signs.
She's about the right height. She wears a mask that kind of looks like it could be a Wolverine if you squint hard enough. And yeah.
Marvel doesn't do a lot of fuckery with their superheroes, right? I feel like for in DC we've had like a female version. You could get like a female version of every Justice League member if you just flip through the comics.
They do. Yeah, they don't do as much fuckery, but they've done fuckery in the past and continue to do fuckery. Well, their fuckery rate has increased dramatically since 2006.
I'm sure that has nothing to do with modern developments.
No, it has nothing to do with our current socio-political climate. Um, so Kairi, or not Kairi Sane, Io Shirai. I apologize if I said Kairi Sane at any point during this recap here. Got booed really unmercifully. I'm surprised. There was a smattering of like cheers and clapping when she was cutting her promo, but she was roundly booed. So good work to them
Yeah.
for making that happen.
Put the team together, and then we promptly threw it away because she doesn't need anyone.
I don't need no friends.
That's what we call heel level 1. That's where you start out. Level 2 is insult, home team, baseball, or sports club.
Number 3 is well, that's more. This is beyond number 3. This is like full galaxy brain as you do a segment where you're getting inoculated to come to the city.
Oh, who's done that? I feel like that's an
That was Dean Ambrose.
Oh,
Before he got the fuck out of there. I wonder why. They did their thing where they do the fake press conference. Velveteen Dream.
He hosted it and took a whole 2 questions.
Took 2 questions. He said he was very happy to answer all their questions, and then promptly refused to answer the first question. In typical Velveteen Dream fashion, then Kathy Kelly asked him about Roderick Strong being a challenger. He dismissed it, which means that they will be wrestling at the next TakeOver event. Most assuredly.
Surprisingly, still more informative than some actual press conferences I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't do a bunch of corporate double talk.
That's
We
right,
gained some knowledge. Not a lot of knowledge, but something was gained.
And he wasn't played by Melissa McCarthy on a Segway. That felt like 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
But that was in the last 3 years.
Yeah. Man. Fuck time.
Fuck time. Speaking, no, that's no segue at all. I'm just gonna put it out there. Triple H is doing another fucking tournament because we can't be a Tuesday without Triple H hosting a goddamn tournament. I love him. Don't take them away from me, Triple H. It's like the fucking McRib. All right, I come here for your tournaments. You're just out of the blue. Like, here's a tournament, guys. Here's your Dusty Rhodes Classic. Here's your fucking World Collision, Worlds Collide. That's the one. That's the correct name for that. And now we have the Breakout Tournament where you just get the random guys from around the performance centers. Like, I want to do wrestling. It's like, you got a queue.
Well, these are newer signees. Some of them were fairly big names on the independent scene. They've received some name changes. I don't remember who was who. But that's happening. But before that happened, Damian Priest, the former Punishment Martinez, beat someone known as Blanco Loco. I say that as white as possible because this man was about as white as possible. It wasn't much of a match, and he hit his spinning kick to set up his chokeslam thing for the pinfall. Then there was a Killian Dane vignette where he was watching archival footage of the Troubles in Northern Ireland, explaining that it was not a nice place to grow up, and he's coming soon. Cool. Then we had Jordan Miles versus my new favorite wrestler of all time this week, Boa.
Yeah, Boa's great.
In this breakout tournament match here. The reason Boa is my favorite wrestler of all time this week is because when he was getting the heat on Jordan Miles, he shouted out Boa. And I think more wrestlers should shout their own names during heat segments and comebacks.
It's like Pokemon, and that's done very well. The marketing is shown, just yelling your name. It's very good. Explaining to the audience everything. It's like Dragon Ball Z, which was Jordan Miles' gimmick, I guess. Like he had a Dragon Ball Z theme.
A lot of the black superstars, and this is not a race thing, it's just something I've noticed. A lot of the black superstars lately had named their moves after Dragon Ball Z related things.
Strange, but nifty.
Well, I mean, you gotta remember that the people who are our age are now, like, in wrestling, so they all grew up with Dragon Ball Z too.
Now we can throw Destructo Disc running lariats.
And Spirit Bomb power bombs if you're Keith Lee. Keith Lee was wearing a King of Saiyans t-shirt, tank top, whatever.
Bask in my glory.
But anyway, this match was good when Boa was getting the heat. It was slow when Jordan Miles was making his comebacks. It was fast. Jordan Miles is a very fast guy. He reminds me of a smaller Apollo Crews.
Yes.
And Apollo Crews is coming back to wrestle Kushida next week, so that should be interesting.
Hooray.
So yeah, they had a match. It was good. Jordan Miles made a comeback with kicks and then hit the Destructo Discus Lariat, then a 450 splash that he calls the Midnight Star for the pinfall, advancing to the next round of the tournament. Then we had a backstage interview with Shayna Baszler. They talked about Mia Yim wanting a title shot. Baszler mocked her backstory. They keep teasing this match. Will it ever happen? I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow to the extreme. I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up the stage and wax a chump like a candle.
I'm sorry. I just found this in the random. Why I am now twice as big in the camera is that I have found a random tidbit that I can't dismiss at this point. The headline here: Enzo Amore and Joey Janela got into a fight at a Blink-182 concert.
I heard about this story. So, my understanding is that Joey Janela was egging Enzo on Twitter, saying that they should fight, and then he saw him randomly at the Blink-182 concert and yelled out to him, "I'm Joey Janela. Do you want to fight?" And then apparently they scrummed a little bit because I guess Joey Janela wanted to get on TMZ or something. And
oh god,
this is wrestling in 2019.
Enzo is going to be the first man to successfully finance his own career in wrestling via wrestling busking. With all the times he's just appeared, every time I hear about Enzo, he's just at a show and a fight breaks out, and it's like, Enzo's there.
Apparently, he and Kaz XL, as he's known now, are I think they're in Ring of Honor now, or at least they were on that Ring of Honor pay-per-view, and maybe are wrestling for them still. So I guess he's gotten back into wrestling after his rap career didn't pan out for him.
Oh god, wait, he tried to rap? Oh, that's really cute.
That's one word for it. We already talked to Keith Lee had a vignette, and he's probably gonna get a push. He's been in NXT for a year, which is crazy to think.
Yeah.
And he is yet to be seen as the chosen one. He will stand on top. He's yet to reach his goal of being limitless. In his second year, he will be infinite. So perhaps a new catchphrase to go with the new push. We talked about Regal announcing Apollo Crews also on next week's show. A lot of shit is happening on next week's show. Adam Cole will have his first title defense against someone.
This is sort of, I guess, making up for them not having a takeover this weekend because it's Extreme Rules time again.
Do they typically do one in front of Extreme Rules?
No, but it's a pay-per-view weekend, so I feel like there's maybe we'll put a little extra on this show.
Well, they're actually, but also this Saturday, the first ever non-WWE event to air live on the WWE Network will be airing, as there's that Evolve show
Yes,
that we
like the
will definitely check
Evolve
out.
10th anniversary.
Yes. I don't know how they get that because, to my knowledge, they're a couple years short. I think Evolve launched in 2011, but they did merge with Dragon Gate USA, who was founded in 2009. So maybe that's where they're getting the 10th from.
Well, WWE, it's never numbers are just arranged to them.
But I'm
So
actually
yeah,
excited about that. Evolve shows are typically great. I've seen um, some, like the first match of the Street Profits that made me go wow was the match they had at Evolve, where Montez Ford busted out like the craziest pile driver I've ever seen. He like leapt 4 feet in the air as he does and came down like in a standard pile driver. It was very bouncy. I'd never seen anything like it before.
man's got moon shoes on.
So I'm excited for that. We'll definitely check it out. And then we had the tag team championship match between the Street Profits and Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. I thought this match was just okay.
Yeah, they're both competent teams who can just and they just sort of put together a well working match. There wasn't anything super dynamic about it.
No, the only moment that really made me go wow was when Montez Ford was running at Lorcan, and then he low bridged him, and he leapt high into the air and came down like halfway up the entrance ramp and just barely grazed Danny Burch, and they called it a plancha. So
Yeah,
dude can move. He's got some springs in his knees or some shit.
It's his eyebrows. He starts every match like this, and it like powers up. That indicates how high he's going. It's like looking at a woolly bear to determine how long the winter is going to be. You look at Montez Ford's eyeballs to see how high he's going to jump that match.
Do you think that his nipples are weird because they contain small anti-gravitational devices?
I can neither confirm nor deny that. They may also be used for aerodynamic effect. Who knows? Was it this show or last week's NXT where the Forgotten Sons busted into Regal's office during some random segment, and they're like demanding some shit from him, and he's just giving the best like, "What are you doing here?" face. He's just like,
Must have been last week because the Forgotten Sons were forgotten on this show.
"Whoops."
Um,
Yeah, he just pulls his face of just utter disbelief and like, I'm trying to do something here, guys.
You've disappointed Daddy Regal.
Yeah. They're like, where's our match? And you're like, well, you gave it up because you pulled a DQ and like you busted on another dude's match. So, your loss.
Yeah. So this match was
to suck.
This particular match was fine. It was not up to the high standards of previous NXT Tag Team Championship matches. It started off slow. They got okay in the middle. Like, it never hit that crazy third gear that these matches often tend to hit. And then after that crazy plancha, Angelo Dawkins hit a spine buster. Montez Ford hit a frog splash. Like, the legal man rule was just ignored for the latter part of this match. And Angelo Dawkins pinned, I believe, Lorcan.
Yes.
He pinned Lorcan.
Yes. Just going to say yes.
And when they were celebrating their win, out came Kyle Fish. Kyle O'Reilly, easy for me to say, and Bobby Fish strolled on stage for a stare down with the Profits. So, looks like they could be the next challengers, which means next takeover could be the night that all the gold comes to the Undisputed Era. I actually believe that if they're going to do it, it will happen that next takeover, which I believe would be in front of SummerSlam. So TakeOver Toronto 2.
That feels really good in that case. Feels right. Feels correct.
Feels correct. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this week. We'll be back next week with a review of NXT and brief discussion of Extreme Rules and that Evolve show. Maybe we'll do a more detailed review for the Evolve show. Should be a fine weekend of wrestling. There's also AEW Fight for the Fallen, the same Saturday as the Evolve show. I don't know if that is you have to pay for it, or it's just part of it'll just be airing on Bleacher Report Live. But that show is also happening that week. I don't know any of the top matches on that show actually, but I know Chris Jericho has been advertised for it. So
yes, I don't know. I guess just it's easy enough. I was gonna be like, we'll look it up for you here, but just look up how to watch it, and it'll probably show you if there's a paid gate or something.
Yeah, I know most of their stuff airs on Bleacher Report Live because Turner has a stake in that, and they're going to be on Turner's network.
There's two free live streams: the Buy-In and the Fight for the Fallen live stream.
Okay, so it's a free show. Yep. It's a nice show because I think all the proceeds are going to go to victims of gun violence. So it's for a good cause, and there's a lot of wrestling to check out this weekend. So you will not hurt for it. We'll run down the card for that real quick here.
Yeah.
Brandy Rhodes versus Allie, and just a singles match. Kenny Omega versus Seema.
Yeah, I want to say Seema.
Nobuhoku Oshima, better known by his ring name Seema. I have not seen any of his work. Cody and Dustin Rhodes versus the Young Bucks. Adam Page versus Kip Sabian. Jimmy Havoc, Darby Allin, and Joey Janela. I've become a big fan of Darby Allin recently.
Yeah.
Versus
this
MJF.
Is the buy-in, so I guess it's like a pre-show thing or a special event.
I believe all their pre-shows are called buy-ins.
Nifty.
Because you have the opportunity to buy into the pay-per-view before, I guess. I don't know. But they're wrestling Joey Janela, MJF, and Sammy Guevara, and Sean Spears will be there too, the former Ty Dillinger. SoCal Uncensored versus the Lucha Bros. That should be a banger of a match. Sonny Kiss versus Peter Avalon with Leva Bates. They're doing that librarian gimmick that is just death. I want it to stop. And then the Dark Order, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson versus Angelico and Jack Evans versus Jungle Boy and the Luchasaurus.
Yes.
This match has everything. And Jungle Boy, you're not on Twitter. If you were on Twitter, I'd tweet it out to you. Tarzan Boy by Baltimora. That's what you want for your entrance music.
Yes.
You're leaving money on the table every day. It's not your theme.
I feel like we've seen Jungle Boy before.
Did you watch All In?
No. I remember him from like before that. Maybe he was. I might have just remembered him from the beginning of like a Botchamania sometime.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I don't think I had seen any, because he was a West Coast guy, and we go to East Coast indies because we live on the East Coast.
Who thought? Well, no, if you go far enough, it just scrolls around, but we never decided to do that.
Right. Speaking of indie shows, we will be attending House of Glory's show August 9th. So if you're going to be in the Greater Queens and NYC area, I believe general admission tickets are still on sale. That's where we'll be, because the front row sold out almost immediately, and it was also expensive. And as we learned from our experience in Poughkeepsie, you want the first row or the last row before the bleachers, or to be on the bleachers. Anything in between is just it's death. Don't do it.
You're in a mosh pit that's not moshing.
No.
It's trying to watch. You get to play the stand up and sit down game. It's awful.
It is the worst. So $20 for general admission tickets. I'll be there. Peter will be there. Other famous wrestling people will be there. I think JD from New York's going to be there. Jason Solomon from the Solomon Monster Sounds Off is going to be there. So it's going to be a happening event. Young Bucks versus Private Party in the main event. So
Wow.
should be a good one. Hope to see some of you there. If you see us, I'm pretty easy to find with my giant mane of red hair and tall, lanky body. Don't be afraid to come and say hi. So,
Please.
hope to see some of you guys there. And peace.
Bye-bye.